cosine rule to find the final answer, then don't round off that particular bearing when you have found it out. Round off only the final cosine rule. Before that, don't round off any of the values. Okay. Uh, Weightage wise, every chapter is again equally very important. You need to know trigonometry very well. You need to know your vectors very well. If after IGCSE, if you are going ahead with A levels or IPDP, then these are a few chapters which are going to be very, very important for you all ahead. And you definitely cannot miss out on any of these concepts. Circle theorems again act as a very important concept. So concepts need to be very, very clear. Textbook will help you to understand the concept, but solving the past papers will help you to gain more of confidence about solving each and every concept what you have learned from the textbook. So there are two different things: conceptual learning, and number two is try not to memorize. Try to solve as many sums as you all can. Try to solve topical past paper books. There are many topical past paper books available. So try to solve as many topical past paper sums which you can. We are also providing topical past paper books which you can buy, but we would recommend you all to solve topical. But for the coming Feb March and the May June exam students, I would obviously now not recommend you all to go ahead with the topical books, but you need to start with the normal past paper solving. That is going to be of an important point for you all, which you guys need to know. So when you see a paper 2, they are normally 1, 2 and 4 marker questions which will be asked. Okay, so you should be aware about it. They might also ask you construction. In the paper 4 they might ask you construction, not in paper 2, but even if they ask, you should be able to construct a triangle or something very basic construction. They might ask, which not every paper they ask, but sometimes somewhere or the other, maybe in after 1 or 2 years, they keep on asking. And if you guys have solved enough papers, then let me be very clear, Cambridge has always never been so um, idealistic about framing different unique questions. They have always been, most of the questions have been repeated only with some numbers here and there. So if you have solved enough past papers, even if 5 years past papers have been solved, it will help you a lot. And try to solve all the variants. So if you are solving 0580, so paper 2, if you're solving, then solve paper 21, 22, 23. All three of them. Don't do that you solve only paper 22 or you solve only paper 21. Try to solve all three of them. So you get a brief idea about what kind of questions have they asked in the last year. Based on that, the level of difficulty also might be, you might able to understand. And certainly very, very easy, and it is possible to score full marks also. Don't think that it is not possible, that it is not okay going to be possible to score full marks. Yes, you can. I have many students of mine who have scored full marks also. So getting those marks, 100% marks, is definitely possible. But try to achieve for 100% so that you can get yourself to at least somewhere nearby 90 to 95%. It is possible to get those marks as well. So when you are doing each and every concept, try to understand what is the difference in that particular question when they have asked you about. Okay, so these the first paper, which is going to be paper 2, are going to be questions based on the paper, the 1 markers, the 2 markers, 4 marker questions would be there over here, but they are all not, most of them are not correlated. I mean, the question, let's say they give you question number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is going to be a paper 4 wherein all the questions will be related to each other. Okay, so if you ask me for the content, what has changed this time? Okay, what topics have been newly added this time? So number 1, what we have is SERTs. One of the most required or an important topic, what I feel this time, what they have added up is SERTs. You need to know rationalizing the denominator, the sums related to SERTs. Textbook really provides very good sums related to SERTs. Okay, and so when you are doing your SERTs part, see to it that you are covering all the concepts. Okay, so everything whatever has been done on SERTs, you need to know how do you do the rationalizing the denominator equations, how do you leave it as a proper SERT form. So there might be a question which is showing it in the form of a plus b root k. So you should be able to make the question in this particular format. This is how you will be solving the questions of SERTs being introduced for the first time. I think they might give a little more of extra weightage in both the paper 2 and 4 on SERTs. They might ask a few more questions, because SERTs can be solved without a calculator. So In the non-calculator paper, I am expecting search to be an important part. Search can be asked in paper 2. Also, they have introduced this time the trigonometric values. This is really good important point, wherein you need to know the values of sine, cos and tan for 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degrees. Very easy. So you need to know those values this time when they have introduced. So try to memorize those values. There would be direct questions in paper 2. 100% we are expecting these three things to be covered in the paper 2. They would be asking your paper the questions on trigonometric values. Also, domain and range has been introduced for the first time. Functions have always been a part of math extended, but this time what they have introduced is a very minute touch and go on the domain and range, not too much in depth. I am not expecting too many questions, maybe here and there 2 or 4 mark questions related to domain and range, not too much, but yes, definitely over the years the math extended papers have been becoming a little more on the difficult side. So then once the paper level is getting difficult, they are trying to add up a few more concepts also. Then we are expecting that the papers might get a little more difficult. Every year on year, they are trying to make the papers more challenging for the students, rather not difficult, but they have become now more challenging for the students. So domain and range is also one small concept in it. Okay, and very easy, a very small concept which I think maximum what 2 or 4 marks will be done. Okay, good part. They have deleted a few topics this time, but not something very great or important or what we can actually be happy about. Box and whisker plots have been deleted, which was anyways not been asked since a very long time. They have been asking it, but only for 2 or 4 marks here and there, not much in the box and whisker plot. Number 2, thank God, congruent triangles have been removed now. So where I see congruent triangles was added in IGCSE Math Extended, but was having no trail or nothing has been taught in A levels or IBDP again about it. Then we also used to wonder why have they added congruent triangles. So good, they have removed congruent triangles. So we won't be having any question related to congruent triangles in this paper. And in the last papers also, a few papers, they have never been asking so many questions based on congruent triangles. The last part what has been removed is your linear programming, wherein they were expecting you all to the entire question was being given to you in the word form and you guys had to make the equation out of that. Now that has also been removed this time. Linear programming won't be asked as well. So from 2025 onwards, so from 2025 to 2027, these are the changes which have been given, which the topics which have been removed and added. Okay, so you need to be aware when you are solving the sums of the past papers. Also, even if you are referring to the 0580 papers, try not to solve these questions. You can remove, you can just skip these questions if they are in their paper. Just try to skip them off. Okay, so yes, your non-calculator paper, which is your paper 2, which is now going to be of 100 marks, before which used to be of 80 marks, and it is going to be for 2 hours. Now, from where do you study this paper? Okay, so when you have to study this paper of paper 2, we can refer to 2 resources now. So I can refer to 0444, which is the US Math Extended papers. Okay, so you can refer to the 0444 papers, and also you can refer to 4024, which is your O level paper 1. You can try to solve these 2 types of papers of the last 3, maybe 3 or 4 years. You can try to solve them. They will mostly, they are all non, they are, these both papers are non-calculator papers. You can try to solve these papers. They are available. We'll share the link as well, and we are also providing the past paper books for these particular papers, so you can definitely buy them. But these papers are going to cover up all the non-calculator sums, a few questions here and there which are not there in your syllabus, the amplitude and all, which you can definitely skip out of that paper, maybe 2-3 marks. But other than that, everything is covered in these 2 papers, which will really help you to understand what has to be covered, what you need to solve without a calculator. When you say the trigonometric rules, the trigonometric identities, when you need to learn, and what way will the questions be asked to you, that will actually help you to understand. Okay, well, coming to the exam dates, if you see, the Feb March paper 2 and the paper 4 will be on the 7th of Feb and the 14th of February 25, and the May June papers again on the 2nd of May and the 7th of May 25. So you guys should have enough time. Okay, Feb March paper students now don't have time, at least less than a month now left. So every day try to make it a point that you try to solve at least a paper 2 every day, and every alternate day or after every 2 days you can solve a paper 4, because only and only practicing is actually going to help you to create that confidence in your mind that definitely we are able to get somewhere nearby scoring the full marks, or you can actually score full marks. So try to get yourself as many papers as you can solve, and solve the papers very very thoroughly. Time yourself, because what happens is most of the students, when they are solving the paper, they are not timing themselves very well, because of which they lose out on the time, and in the exam they are not able to finish the paper. They are taking too much of time in understanding a concept or making some calculations. You need to give a lot of weightage to the question marks what have been asked for. If a question of a circle theorem is coming for 1 mark or maybe just 2 marks, and if you feel you need to draw a lot of lines here and there, you need to extend the you need to make, let's say, one more angle touching the circumference of the circle, or you need to make a cyclic quadrilateral to find an answer only for 1 mark, they are not going to do that. You need to understand if it is for 1 mark, then directly the answer is given and you are missing out on some of the values. In the circle theorem, you need to just apply one of the theorems very well and it will be done. Okay. So at the same time, along with the circle theorems, you can also do one more thing, that in the same way you need to know the marking scheme also. What marks are being allocated to? If it's a 4 marker question, then obviously it might be expected that you need to draw some extra circle theorem. You need to extend the diagram given to you. If it is mentioned and not to scale, be very much sure about it, aware about it, that if it is not to scale, it means that you cannot directly just seeing the image say that it's an isosceles triangle or it's an equilateral triangle. You need to
Um,
understand the, yes, tell me.
so again, we have few doubts in the chat box, and also
Acha.
some people have shared some images.
Okay.
So I'll just read them out and I'll screen share and show the doubts. So
Okay.
you can. So the first doubt, um, okay, do we have planes of symmetry in our syllabus?
Yes, you do have planes of symmetry. Yes, lines of symmetry, planes of symmetry, rotational symmetry. You do have it in their syllabus. Still, they have hardly been asking hardly one or two questions here and there. Not too much. Not a lot has been ever asked about planes of symmetry, but it is there in your syllabus.
Okay. The next question is asked. The next question asks this: do we have to find the region R of linear programming? I mean, do
Yes,
we
yes,
have?
yes, definitely. What I am saying is, what has been removed is a statement given to you with which you have to frame the equation. That has been removed. But yes,
Basically
sorry.
the word problems where we have
The
to,
word problem, yes, the word problems have been removed, but the finding the region are all the lines given to you, and you have to give the equation of those particular lines being given to you, or the equation given and frame finding the shaded region or the unwanted region. Those questions are definitely there. That has not been removed.
okay. Somebody is also asking that while we write our answer for domain and range, do we need to write the range in like, I think you should see the chat.
Range x greater than 3 less than 6. Yes, yes. It
Or
depends upon the question. No. It depends upon the question. If the question mentions to give the range, you can directly write as x greater than 3 and less than 6 also, or you can write also like the integer values 3, 4, 5, 6. Both are okay. Both would be fine. No problem.
okay. Uh, the next question is, does the core students have certs?
No. Core students do not have certs. You guys don't have to worry for certs.
Okay. And do we have constructions?
Yes. Constructions is there. So if I just show you a specimen paper 4, okay. I open C. This for the second question itself is of construction. So I'll be sure you need to carry your protractor, compass, and everything when you're going for your exam. And they might ask you some questions like this for construction. Very basic construction. They won't ask you to do much in constructions, but yes, you need to know basic constructions. Wherein here what they've told is in a triangle PQR, QR is 10 centimeter and PR is 11 centimeter. So what you need to do is just from Q, you need to place a line of, let's say, QR of 10. So Q till R, you will place an arc of 10. Okay, from P to R an arc of 11. So wherever it intersects, you just drawing those two lines and you will name this as R. That's it. This is what you will be doing. It will be a very simple question.
Okay. Now we do have some doubts. Okay. There are more doubts in the chat box. We also have, some images that students have sent us.
Okay.
They are images of questions from the past paper. So, if
Okay.
possible, share my screen once we finish with the doubts in the chat box.
Sure. Sure.
Uh,
Okay.
Doubt in the paper. Okay.
In the paper, the syllabus component 22 and 42, is it always the first paper is non-calculator? No,
We
paper 22 is always a non-calculator paper. Paper 22 is basically paper 2, and paper 42 is paper 4. So paper 2 is a non-calculator, and paper 4 is a calculator base, wherein you're allowed to use the calculators in paper 4. Now the dates might also differ.
Yeah. Um, 1 minute. I'm just sharing the screen. For that.
On which topic should we focus more in core syllabus, and how can we bring C graded in? Okay, so someone has focus more in core syllabus. Core, I would recommend you all to be more sure about your numbers, algebra, which are the areas where I feel most of the core students actually make some mistakes in when they're solving their core algebra, trigonometric basic sums, which are expected that you all should know, probability, very basic sums. So see to it that your algebra numbers are very strong enough when you are doing these two.
Okay. The first doubt we have is this question. Hello. Is the doubt visible to you, sir?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. So, how do we do it? You would be answering on the screen, or like,
What I can do is I can right now I will just be able to give you an idea about it, and the solution I can send it to you after some time. If you can just send me all the solution the questions on the group, on the CambiHub group, I'll just send you all the solutions. I'll just solve them and I'll definitely send it back to you.
also you can tell the method of
Okay,
the.
here what you have to do is the direct proportion is given to you. Okay, energy of a moving object is directly proportional to the square of its speed. So the speed of the object is increased by 30%. So what you need to do is you need to find out a new direct proportion wherein you are increasing the speed. Okay, so wherein let's say you are taking the original speed as 100, the new speed will be 130%. When you are putting that percentage of increase in the particular given direct proportion of the equation, you need to equate both the equations, which will help you to get the final answer of percentage of increase. I will solve this question and I will send it to you on the group.
Okay. This is the next question that we have. I think we can. This is something which needs to be solved.
Vectors. O A B C is a parallelogram. Can you just zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
OA is A, OC
So,
B. P is a point on CB such that okay, 3 is to 1. Find the terms of A or C in the simplest form. So you have to first find out AC. So, okay, in vectors, always remember that when you see OA is given in the terms of A. So if I go from AO, it will be negative A, firstly. If you are going inverse against the magnitude, then you have to make it as a negative sign. You have to go for the opposite sign. So if I'm finding out AC, if I want to go to AC, then AC is nothing but AO plus OC. So my AO will be minus A and OC will be C. So minus A plus C will be the answer for AC. Okay, if you tell me to find out CP, what I would rather do is I will to find out CP. CP is nothing but one third. No, CP is to PB. CP is to PB. The CP is 3/4 of CB. So we will first find out CB, and with the help of CB, we will find out our answer to it. Can you go a little down?
It has a doubt. You can unmute to ask it out. Jeet, do you have a doubt? You have raised your hand. Is there any doubt?
Which paper to refer for core without Kelsey?
Um, Paper 2 without core CalC papers are not there, but I will definitely share it with you. I will share you a few questions which are actually going to be helpful for you. You can go through. I'll share the specimen paper, especially which you can go through for the core paper, which will be helpful for you. And there'll be more. There are more questions which we have framed for our core students, which I will share it with you. I will share it on the group and I'll share it with you personally as well. You can just
Okay.
drop me a message. I'll send you the questions.
The next question is asked in the chat. What different shape?
I could not hear you. Sorry.
Am I audible now?
Yes, tell me.
The next question is in the chat. The person is saying, what shapes do we need to practice for the constructions?
What? Sorry, what do we need to practice for constructions?
What different shapes?
Constructions, if you guys remember, you all had learned basics of constructions in the 7th and the 8th grade of IGCSE. So, a little bit of construction wherein they are telling you to to draw right angle triangle. Firstly, let's say you need to know how to draw right angle triangle. If they give you an angle and they tell you to perpendicularly bisect an angle, you need to know that. How do you do that? So, let's say making a right angle and bisecting it into 45 degrees each. So, you should be able to do that without the help of a protractor. They might tell you to draw the midpoint, to draw a line as a perpendicular bisector. So you draw, let's say a line is given to you of 10 centimeters, and they tell you to draw a perpendicular bisector to that particular line. So these particular things are not included in the David Rayner question, the textbook. But somewhere I feel it's good if we know those concepts, because we have learned those in the basics in the 7th and the 8th grade. So that would be actually helpful for us. We should know those particular concepts. They might ask.
Okay. Somebody is asking for tricks to remember the values of sine, cos, and tan.
Sine, cos, and tan. Okay. So what I can do is, there is a very simple method. For the sine, you need to know the values. You only need to learn the values of sine. If you can learn that, I will just show you right now on my screen. How do you learn that? Just give me a minute.
Somebody is asking that should we answer as integer or in a form of inequality when we do domain and range?
Same again. Better, I would recommend you all to write as an inequality. But even if you're writing as an integer, it's okay. Rather, I would recommend you all to write it in the form of an inequality only. It's better to mention it in the form of an inequality, because domain and ranges are usually in the form of inequalities only most of the time. So it's better to answer it in the form of an inequality. But always remember, less than equal to, greater than equal to signs when you are putting, they are right when you are putting the signs particularly. Okay. So the trigonometric table.
Sorry,
Just
sorry. One last doubt. We
tell
can
me.
do it. Uh, what do the, so this is pretty, what do the brackets, the marking scheme mean?
Sorry, I could not see what you are saying.
What square brackets in the marking scheme mean?
That is the way you have to present. I mean, let's say the method what you have to use to solve the particular question. That is why the brackets are given to you over there in the marking schemes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir, we agree with it.
Okay. So for the trigonometric table, always remember what you have is over here. I am mentioning zero. Sorry. sine, cosine, tan rule. Here I write 0. These are the only values what you need to know as the textbook has actually given to you. What here you can do is you can only memorize the first line. Only the first line needs to be memorized. Sine of 0 is 0. Sine of 30 is 1 upon 2. Sine of 45 is 1 upon root 2. Sine of 60 is root 3 by 2. And sine of 90 is 1. You need to learn only this first line. If this is done, cos is nothing but cos is opposite, wherein you have 90 over here, you will start 1 over here. So if you have 1 over here, you will write over here cos. In the cos, you will write 1. So here it will be 1. Then you have 60 as root 3 upon 2. You go the reverse way. Basically, you start in this way particularly. Okay, so this will be root 3 upon 2. Then you will have 1 upon root 2. Then you will have 1 upon 2. And here you will have 0. This is sine and cosine. Now, what is tan? Tan is nothing but, if you know, tan is nothing but sine over cos. Tan is nothing but sine upon cos. So, when you are using tan, you have to do nothing but you have to do just sine upon the cos is what you have to do. Okay, so if I do 0 upon 1, which will be 0, 1 upon 2 divided by root 3 by 2. Okay, so this is nothing but 1 upon 2 multiplied by 2 upon root 3. 2 and 2 gets cancelled, you will have 1 upon root 3 over here. Okay, now then 1 second, I'll just erase this one.
I think so for sine values also, we can, use that trick where it is root 0 by 4 and then 1 by 4 and then we can continue that ways.
0 by 4. Sorry, I didn't get you.
There's also a trick for the sine values.
What is the trick? Tell me.
So in the root, we can put for 0 degrees, it will be 0 by 4. For 30 degrees, it will be root 1 by 4. And we can, continue it that ways.
There are n number of ways. There are many ways. There are many tricks wherein you can do it even on your fingers. There are a lot of YouTube videos which will show you how can you do it on your fingers as well. So many methods. The only thing is the more you try to memorize the different methods, it should strike you in the exam. The any of the methods you can follow. Any of the methods. If there is any more simpler way, we can definitely try for that as well. Yes, you are right. We can try to go for that particular method also. So what I'll do is once I'm doing this method, then Ritik, you can just show that method what you were talking about. We can maybe that will be helpful for the students as well. Okay, so tan now why we'll be doing is 1 upon root 2 divided by 1 upon root 2, which is nothing but 1. Okay, now 60 will be root 3 upon 2 divided by 1 upon 2, which is nothing but root 3 upon 2 into 2 upon 1. So again, I'll be having over here root 3 and finally 1 upon 0, which is not defined, which will be dashed, which will not be having a value. So these are the values what we need to know. If we are covering up this table, it should be helpful for you. And students need to memorize this table very well this time. Any more doubts?
I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
Okay, you can unmute and ask your doubt.
Sir, I had a doubt like for questions in which we have to answer for like an angle. So some in our school we were told that we have to answer it in one decimal place. So can you please tell like specific like the degree of accuracy for each and everything like
See, when you are writing an angle, if it is in decimal, it is yes, it is better if you round it off to one decimal place. It's okay. But if let's say if you are finding an angle and it is 1 second, if let's say the angle is coming up to let's say 200 and something degrees, so you can write 214.5 degrees. That is okay. If the answer is coming to 214 point something like 214.318, so you can write as 214.3 degrees. That is completely okay. But you have to at least give in one decimal place. Not less than that. You have to mention it in one decimal place. And you have to round off only the final answer. Don't round off before the final answer. Then what might happen is the final answer might go out of the range which is mentioned in the mark scheme for the examiner. So try to round off only the final answer, not before that.
Okay, and how do we know if we have to round off to three significant figures or 2 DP?
Okay, so depending upon the number given to you, if the number is itself, let's say 1.4132, so you round it off to 2 dp or 3 sf, both becomes the same one only. If the number answer is coming up to, let's say, 21.423, so you can write it as 21.4, or you can also write it as 21.42. That is okay, completely fine. You can write it as 2 dp or 3 sf. Any one of them is okay, but you
All right,
cannot go more than that.
thank you.
If it is, let's say, 2.117, so you can just leave it as 2.12 because it becomes three significant figures itself. Any more doubts?
Uh, okay, there are more doubts in the chat box.
I
So,
answered that if you have numbers in population, you should not round off to a significant figure. And see, most of the time when the sum related to population will come, the question will be very much clear that what would be the population coming up to. So if they are saying that give the number in the standard form or something, or in the 2sf, then you round off, otherwise you leave the number as it is. Okay, so don't make it, let's say the population is coming to 375 people, so don't make it to around 400. Don't make it directly 400 when they're saying 1sf, only then you make it 400, otherwise leave it as 375 itself. Do not round it off.
okay, the next doubt is okay, we have I've shared the screen. This is the next doubt that we received. I think this is covered.
This was covered.
That is
A pipe is completely full of water. Water flows to the pipe at a speed of 1.2 meters per second into the tank. The cross section of the pipe has an area of 6 centimeters square. Okay. See, here you need to see that it is nothing but a cylinder which is given to you. This is one of the most common good topic what they keep on asking you all about. This is expected that they might ask this kind of a question in the paper, coming paper. And it's a paper 4 question. And here what they are saying is the cross section of the pipe has an area of 6 centimeters square. Water flows to the pipe at a speed of 1.2 meters per second. That 1.2 meters per second is nothing but the length of the pipe what you have to consider. Now what you guys have to do is the 1.2 meters per second, you need to convert that into centimeters because the cross section is given to you in centimeters. So we'll first convert the 1.2 meters into centimeters. Once that is done, we'll do area of the cross section into the length, which is 1.2 converted into centimeters. We'll multiply that, so we'll get the volume of the water which is going to flow. So that will be volume of the water in 1 second, because we have found that in per second, and they have told you to find out the water in 1 hour. We'll now convert that into an hour, so that will give us something in centimeter cube. Now we know that 1 liter is equal to 1000 centimeter cube, and they have asked you the question in the terms of number of liters of water flowing. So you have to divide that by 1000. So you'll get the answer in liters.
I think these were all of the doubts. Is there anyone else who has any other doubt? Uh, how to find h inverse of x? If h of x is 2 raised to the power x.
Okay, so there is a small concept of log also you need to know. Yes, no, not log algorithm, but it's better if you know to solve it with logarithms. Logarithms becomes easier. I'll just show you how do you do logarithms, which might help you to do these type of sums. So let's say if you have, just share
Also,
my.
sir, can you like once covering the logarithm part, can you just cover just a little bit for domain and range, because a lot of students are asking for domain and range also, like as a concept. Just as
Understood, but now we'll be having a class, so I need to rush in the next 5 minutes. So maybe I can do one thing on the group. I can share a complete video. I'll be making a video today, and I'll share it. I'll share a video on the domain and range today, and I'll share it on the group today itself.
So we can end it with the logarithms.
Yes, yes, definitely, we'll do that.
Okay.
Just share my screen. Okay, so let's say if something is given as 2. Okay, logarithms can be used somewhere in the compound interest sums, if you all remember, wherein we have to find out the number of years. Okay, so number of years in which the money will be done. So if you remember the compound interest formula, amount is equals to P1 plus R the whole raised to N. That is the formula of your compound interest. Over here, if let's say my amount is given to me as, let's say, 10,000 is equal to 4,000 1 plus, let's say the rate of interest is 5%, which is 0.05, the whole raised to n. I have to find out at the rate of 5% in how many years compounded my money will be equal. So when I will solve this, so let's say I have 2.5 is equal to 1.05 the whole raised to n. This is my exponential form. This is actually called as an exponential form. We need to convert the exponential form into a logarithmic form. How do we do that? So for that, what I will have to do is, I will put log of 1.05. Okay, this is what we will be writing up. Now in our calculator, we just need to put up this value. So what happens over here is, this 1.05 comes down as the base. Okay, and we will have log of 2.5 to the base of 1.05 is equal to n, which will give us the number of years in which we can find it out. Okay, so what it usually is that let's say my a raised to n is equal to b is given to me as your exponential form, and if I want to convert this into my log form, then I will do this as log of b to the base a is equal to n. This is my log form. Okay, this is called as my exponential form, and this is called as my log form. Now if you want to check whether the log form what you have converted to is right or no from the exponential form, then how do you do that? What you simply do is go anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means what? You see a raised n and b, so I can see that a raised to n is equal to b. This is how it is becoming anti-clockwise. If this is happening, that means my a raised to n equals to b, which was my a raised to n equals to b. That is my exponential form. So that means my formation of my log is correct. So this is very important. How do you form the log? With the base and the value to find out your n. So over here, we'll find out the value of number of years over here. This log can be used to do the function sum also.
There's
What?
somebody saying that our calculators are only log to base 10 by default.
No, 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 no. There are the calculators FS. I just share you the calculator which is having the base wherein we can change the base also.
White color one, right?
Yeah, yeah, the white color one, right?
The black ones, which are the old ones, the model, the previous model to that
The
does not have.
91ES, I think that is the number, FX91ES or something, which is allowing you to put anything as the base.
Just a second, just a second.
Can we do it in FX91991CW?
No, no, no.
One CW. Let me check. 1 minute.
I put the
No,
calculator.
no, cannot do. I don't think so.
Just
There-
I'll do is just give me a second. Okay, is my video visible to everyone? Yeah. So I think this calculator, the black one, does not have it. This is FX991ES or the CW1, but this white one has it. The FX991EX. So if I turn it on, I can enter the base from here. If you can see, I can enter the base value also. So if I have to enter 10, I can enter 10, or I can even change it. So it allows me to enter both the values.
No, no, even the FX991ES, it will allow you to do that. If you put the shift and log, it will allow you to put the value.
I'll just try it once.
Just try. Because if you put the ln which is given to you, no, that one if you use along with the shift, it will allow you to put up. FX991ES will allow you to put the values.
Without the shift also, it is allowing to
It
put
is
it.
allowing, right?
Yeah, without the shift also, it's allowing to put it.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, 991ES would be a good choice, and the other one also what Ritik just mentioned was a good one. All right, I would recommend you all now the Feb March and the May June students to just solve papers. The May June ones, you all still have some more time in hand, so start solving papers as much as possible. Solve your past papers. The May June, the Feb March students, you all are running out of time now. So paper four, maybe coming up over the weekends, try to solve a paper four, and paper two. And during the weekdays, try to solve as many paper twos as possible. So you can also buy the past paper books what we are providing. So you have these books available on Amazon. You can buy these books also. So these books would be helpful for you all for solving the past papers also. And from Concept Academy, Mayur Shah. So you can definitely get in touch with me if you have any more doubts. So you can directly, I am also a part of the CambiHub group. You can directly share your messages and your requirements out there as well. I will definitely answer your questions.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. And thank you, everyone, for joining today. And